Did Hasbro destroy Power Rangers as a franchise? We are going to talk about it because there are some fans out there commenting on a lot of my videos saying that Hasbro ruined Power Rangers, and we want to break this down. Is there any truth to this? Is it complete BS? We'll find out. Hit that intro, Rangers.
You are watching the Fan Club.
You're watching the Fan Club.
And you're watching the Fan Club. Do you know what time it is?
And you know what time it is.
It's time for the Fan Club. Let's go. Hey!
I can't do this on my own, cause you know things ain't always sweet when you out here in these streets. But my morpher when it morphed, I made a fake one.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fan Club. It is your boy, Dan Brosnan, in the building. Welcome to the show. We actually have a fun one today. So, in several different videos, there have been fans out there that keep stating that Hasbro ruined the franchise. A video I made about 6-7 days ago, a guy by the name of Alexander commented and said, Hasbro ruined the entire franchise. I blame Hasbro and the CEO should get fired. He said, Hasbro has totally crossed the line big time. Our childhood is ruined. Hasbro is a childhood franchise destroyer. I could go on and on of so many comments of negativity about Hasbro, and I'm not here to fully defend Hasbro, but I'm also here to just tell the truth. And I don't think that they completely saved the franchise. I don't think they completely destroyed it either. I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, but I'm leaning more towards they saved it in a way, okay? Now, we're going to break everything down on how we got here. How exactly did Hasbro stumble upon Power Rangers? Well, back in the day, 2018, Hasbro acquired Power Rangers, everything, the show, the toys, for $522 million, and that included several other entertainment assets. So they spent $500 million on Power Rangers. And I want to talk about a few statements that were put up about Power Rangers from Hasbro back when they acquired the brand. Power Rangers is an iconic brand built on a heritage of great storytelling and merchandising with tremendous upside potential when fully executed across Hasbro's brand blueprint, said Brian Goldner, Hasbro's chairman and chief executive officer, CEO. Shortly after entering into our license arrangement, it became clear that now was the time to begin investing in unlocking Power Rangers' full potential. We see significant opportunity for Power Rangers across our brand blueprint, including toys and games, consumer products, digital gaming and entertainment, as well as our global retail footprint. We couldn't be more pleased that Haim Saban will continue in a consulting role to further guide our development of this valuable property for the next generation of fans. Now, it sounded very promising at the time. There was even some more comments from Brian Goldner about Power Rangers, and I want to tell you what he thought back in February of 2028. It's a very young skewing brand, so that the youngest consumer really loves that story. That fun humor that comes along with that action and adventure of Power Rangers. And then today, there's all these kids who are now adults, are fans of the brand, and we think there's a great opportunity in that fan economy to talk to the Power Rangers fan and give them the products they are looking for. Goldner finishes by saying, we think this brand could be far bigger in our hands over time than it has been in the past. Those were some big words because Power Rangers was one of the biggest brands in the 90s, but as time went on, it lost its flair, it lost its sell factor, and it sold less and less toys. Now, when Hasbro picked up Power Rangers, that was like the Ninja Steel era. That was right after the 2017 movie didn't do what it was supposed to do. Remember when Haim Saban said, oh, we're going to come out with 5, 6 different movies? He sounded just like LeBron back in 2010. Not 6 championships, not 7, but 8. And then when it comes down to it, you kind of make a fool out of yourself a little bit, Saban, and you jinxed yourself, by the way, man. I could go on for hours about that whole 2017 era with Ninja Steel and the movie not living up to expectations and not making enough money to guarantee a sequel, because I believe with those characters and the actors that they had, they could have really made a part 2 to this that would have been awesome, and they already built the storyline. There were just some problems with the movie, and that was like Saban's last big bang. If they would have been successful with at least the movie and sold even more toys than they thought, they would have kept it going, but they put all their resources into it and it kind of fizzled out. And Power Rangers Ninja Steel was probably one of the worst seasons in a long time, and the Neo Saban era wasn't great in my opinion. I know there's so many fans that grew up on Samurai and Megaforce and Dino Charge and they love it. I get why you guys like it, and I'm not shitting on what you guys like. It wasn't my favorite. Maybe it's because I wasn't a kid at the time. I'm more of like a late 90s, early 2000s Power Ranger era guy. Like, I thought those Lost Galaxies, Time Forces of the world, Wild Force, those were some really good stories, but I understand why people like stuff. But over time, when you look at the numbers of what they were bringing in, Ninja Steel was real bad. Nobody was watching it, and Nickelodeon was putting it at like 7 in the morning, which no one's really waking up at 7 on a Saturday to watch Power Rangers no more. They weren't even really doing it in the late 90s. Like, I remember doing it and being all tired throughout the day, but I loved my Power Rangers. So once Hasbro picked it up, they knew that they had to fulfill the Nickelodeon agreement. It had a few more years on it, so they began with Beast Morphers, and this was the season that got me back into the brand. They couldn't do much with Beast Morphers because that was already in like the pipeline to be created. It was already planned, and I believe that even if Saban kept Power Rangers, Beast Morphers would have been put out. It was already kind of going in that direction. I just think that Beast Morphers had a little bit more heart to it. It had a little bit better of a story because Hasbro took over and tried to do their own thing. But Dino Fury, like season 2, is when you really got to see that Hasbro wanted to change things up. And I like what they did with Beast Morphers. I like what they did with Dino Fury, but it was like the same thing that we got with Saban, just a little bit better of writing. It took place in New Zealand, and you could tell that they wanted to make their own. And no matter what happened, they did fail on that for a while, even if some things were against their control, like the writers and actors strike and COVID. I mean, like literally in 2020, they announced we were getting that Jonathan Entwistle project. And a year ago, we finally got confirmation that it's not happening. So they played with us for a good 4 years of us thinking we're getting this project. It got canceled. They gave us Once and Always. They gave us Cosmic Fury. And then they kind of fizzled out. Now, I know a lot of fans think that Cosmic Fury is what ended everything, but they were planning on kind of breaking it off and moving away from New Zealand anyways, but they knew they had to make something for that 30th anniversary. And I believe, even though we've never got a confirmation, that movie was supposed to come out in 2023, and that was supposed to be the big Power Rangers thing. But when they canceled it, they realized, hey, we still need to put out something. So they made a 10-episode season continuation of Dino Fury that turned into Cosmic Fury, obviously. And then they gave us Once and Always, a 30th anniversary special that was like an hour-long thing. We can get the actors in and out within a few weeks. They're back in the States. It worked. And I like what they have done with Power Rangers so far, but you can tell that they have not been able to do exactly what they wanted to do. And why exactly is that? That's because Brian Goldner, the guy we're talking about that had all of these bright ideas for Power Rangers and a vision, he passed away. And a guy by the name of Chris Cox took over, but he's known more from like the video games, trading cards, stuff like that. That's what he's into, and that's what he's trying to kind of leverage Hasbro into that position where we'll still make toys, but we're going to be doing all this other stuff like video games and card games, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they are also a toy company. And a lot of fans don't believe that Chris Cox has the real vision for Power Rangers, or at least he hasn't made that known that he really cares about Power Rangers. At times, he'll talk about it, but he doesn't talk about it the way that Brian Goldner talked about Power Rangers. He literally said, like, this brand can be far bigger in our hands, saying that, like, if we double down on this, Power Rangers could be bigger than it's ever been. And it is a shame that he passed away before he could actually show us what he wanted to do. He made it seem like he was going to turn Power Rangers into the next Transformers and give it 5-6 different movies, but he never guaranteed that. He didn't pull a Saban and say that's what we're doing. It is sad because the next guy that came on had a different vision, and that's not like a bad thing. I always compare this to like a football team out there. You have a coach that comes in and he drafts a player, and then the coach gets fired and a new coach comes in and he's not committed to that player like the other guy is because he drafted him, right? Like Goldner, because he was part of the acquisition, he would have felt like he really has to make this work, and we got to get it the movie. We got to get things going because that's something that I put my name on, right? This next guy that comes in here, he didn't make the move for Power Rangers. He doesn't have to care for it like the guy before him did because I didn't make that move. Like, he might not even like Power Rangers, and Power Rangers is a brand that if you don't get it, you don't get it. It might come off weird. It might come off of as unsellable, right? How many years in a row back in the late 80s, early 90s was Haim Saban and even Stan Lee shut down for trying to adapt an American version of Super Sentai, right? So many different ideas were shot down because it looked dumb, quote unquote, right? Like, for real, people looked at it and was like, yo, we're gonna just lose money on this. And it became a huge brand. I think that with this new Armor Source shows coming out, it proves that there still is a fan base that wants a show of superheroes in spandex with Megazords, and it's a team of teenagers. Like, it's a fun concept, and Power Rangers does have a future. I don't think that Hasbro destroyed Power Rangers. I don't think they ruined it. I think that they have made a few errors, especially with like the toys and the quality control. And Hasbro as a brand has had some problems over the past few years, but I don't think that they ruined it. If anything, you could argue they saved it, because if Saban still had the brand, it might not even be a thing no more. He was running it into the ground again, unfortunately, guys. Like, by the end of his era, the numbers were the worst they've ever been, and Hasbro had to take that all over. So at first, you knew you weren't going to get anything different, and once 2023 came and we didn't get a new movie along with it, that was a shame. And I was pretty sad. Like, I felt like we were duped. And then in 2024, we finally got told, like, it's not happening. And then now there's something new. So there's been a lot of situations that Hasbro has made with Power Rangers that I don't think's perfect. And I think they did mess up. However, because they have all these other big brands that are supporting the company, Power Rangers not making the money they thought it was going to make does not bankrupt the company. See, with Saban, Power Rangers was its biggest brand, right? If Power Rangers is doing bad, the whole company is doing bad. Now, Hasbro has a lot of problems that they need to iron out. but I still think that they are in a way better situation than Saban Brands. I don't even hear about Saban Brands anymore, guys. The last time I even heard about Saban putting out anything that I can remember was the Jay and Silent Bob sequel was put out by Saban, and there was even like a Power Rangers reference in that. It was quite funny. If you haven't seen it, go check that out. But Hasbro hasn't saved Power Rangers, but there's proof in the pudding that they fully didn't destroy it either. I think that Bandai and Saban kept it going, and they had their own problems. When Disney had it, they had their own problems. I always said that Disney didn't know what the hell they were doing with the brand. They were kind of scared. They wouldn't even put it on Disney Channel, man. Imagine if Power Rangers was on Disney Channel for all those years they had it. I think they would have hit a way bigger demographic. A lot of different people that have had Power Rangers didn't do what they were supposed to do with the brand. And if you compare Hasbro to the others, I feel like Hasbro's just another brand. Hasbro's just another company that has Power Rangers. Hasbro's just another company that has purchased Power Rangers, and they've done good with it. They've also done some bad things with it. We're not going to sit on here and say they are immune, but I do think that to say that they ruined Power Rangers is a little crazy, because we still haven't got to see their version of Power Rangers, their original project that they've been wanting to give us for years now. That was the whole point of Brian Goldner's vision, was making something bigger that has not been seen in the past. Now, I don't know what the future of the brand is like, because this quote was from 7 years ago, and it didn't fully live up to that, okay? I don't think that they destroyed the brand either. The brand is in a peculiar spot, and they pulled the plug on the Sentai adaptions that were basically costing them money. When it's all said and done, they were making money off the toys, but they weren't making anything off that show no more, because no one was watching it. And when it went to Netflix, which I thought was a better deal, it would only trend for a week or two, and then you would never see it trending ever again. So yes, I think Power Rangers is in a weird spot, but I don't believe Hasbro ruined the brand, because it wasn't doing necessarily great before Hasbro came along. That's why I say that. I think that Hasbro kind of stabilized it a little bit. The toys and the Lightning collection, there was some success there. There was also some failure there, and that's what Power Rangers has been the last 15, 20 years. There are successes. There are things we really like. But with that, there's things that we don't like. And we have to iron that out. I'm not here to stick up for Hasbro, because, I'm sitting here naming about 7, 8, 9 different things that I don't like that happened with Power Rangers. But to just say they ruined it is a little crazy too. Now, what are your thoughts? Do you think Hasbro ruined Power Rangers? Let me know in the comments. Speaking of the comments, let's read a few more and see what the fans are saying. Rich said, "Dear all, don't you all get tired of the same recycled footage being used in the series? This is what Super Sentai does. Just to save costs, they harbor cheap costumes with cheap video effects. Don't you all dream of an original story with Transformers-level video effects for contemporary audiences? What Hasbro is doing to the IP is fully justified, and I totally support it. Now that it's a joint production between Hasbro Entertainment and 20th Century TV, which itself is a Disney Entertainment, the project is in the right hands." I agree with that, actually. Tommy said if the Disney Plus reboot is going to be not as good as the actual Power Rangers series, they should adapt more Sentai seasons as new Power Rangers seasons, because Sentai is the key element of Power Rangers. Now, I understand it, but over time, they have kind of created their own thing with their own fan base, and I think that Power Rangers deserves an original shot. They do. I promise you, every time that they've done something original, there has been some good there. I'm not saying that every original project has made money or was good, but I can see where they're going with it. If you can get this right and Dan Schatz and company can put this together, I think Power Rangers has some real potential. Kiki said maybe Hasbro can make new Rangers like Saban did with the Titanium Ranger. Yeah, I think they can do whatever they want if they go all original. They don't have any constraints. And that's what the Sentai footage did. It limited you from Zords to the suits to the actual storyline half the time, right? It had to match. And if you go all original, you can do your own thing. And I think it could be good. Yes, you could mess up, but we're at that weird time where it's not like the Super Sentai adaptions were making that much money. They weren't trending like that. They weren't on Nickelodeon for all those years hitting top numbers. It was only Samurai when they first brought it back. It did some good numbers that first half of the season, and then that started to dwindle too. So what are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments. I got to shout out all the fans out there that take the time out of their day to watch this content. You are the real MVPs and the reason why we can continue to make stuff like this. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Peace. I want to give a special shout out to the Gold Ranger members, Salima Ramirez, Thomas Franco, Roderick Ham, and the Gamer TV Silent Gameplay. Thank you guys so much for your support, and if you want a video shout out like this one, sign up to be a Gold Ranger member today. Hey, what's going on? Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, hit that share button, and if you can, please sign up to be a member today. We have 3 membership power-ups. We have the Gold Ranger power-up, the most popular. You get into our exclusive fan club chat group. We have fan-exclusive videos that we are adding monthly now, and you get a video shout out. Yes, folks, at the end of our videos, I will shout out your name. We also have the Quantum Ranger power up where you get monthly meetings online with me. Yes, folks, we will talk once a month on Zoom, and you can give me your ideas for future episodes. And then we have a professional package, the Dr. K power up. That is for businesses that want to tap into the platform. If you guys can, please sign up to be a member today. It is highly appreciated, and it helps us keep these videos going. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Hi, we're Bulk and Skull. We have been requested by the fan club to say something funny.